Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to do a comparison on the E-Revo 4x4 brushless compared to the MT8E BE6S. Now, this is not the MT8E BE6S, this is the MT8E 4S version. Mainly because the arms and things like that are plastic on this still, whereas mine's been completely upgraded, and it's really not a fair comparison. So, kind of what I want to go over this video and today basically show you is some of the stock thickness differences of the arms, drive shafts, vehicle size, just the layout, things like that of the vehicle. Talk about some of the durability things with them that I've dealt with, other people have dealt with, and basically what you get out of the box for the BE6S in comparison to the E-Revo. So, for your money, because they're about the same price. Alright, so starting with the obvious first, this does not have a rear wing, and it does not have the front bumper. Now, this is a buddy of mine's truck, so that's, unfortunately, he lost it driving this thing, trying to get speed runs and things. Basically the same thing I did, because, I did have this truck as well, so all my comparisons to this truck are in straight opinion of usage, plus, seeing the other truck here, because I am going to basically, I don't see this ending any other way other than me promoting the BE6S over this, and I can sell you both. It's not me telling you that because I want you to buy my product, because I'll sell you an E-Revo, and the price difference that I make is probably the same. So again, it's more about just showing you these vehicles side by side, which I don't think anybody's done, and really kind of opening your eyes to what you get for your money. So again, I'll be fixing this up for a buddy of mine and kind of just overhauling it, putting some RPM stuff on it, and probably selling this for him. So, but he's done with it. He loves the BE6S. Right now he's got 2 girls and he hasn't even driven this. So, it's one of them things that's just going to go for him. So we'll take care of that and I'll get rid of it. But that's another day. All right, so I'm going to start with getting some thickness of the arms. I'm going to get this body off of this. Do the comparison real quick on the arms and stuff, and then I'll bring up the BE6S. Alright, so let's start with just looking at the trucks. We're not focusing on anything in the center right now for this truck. We're just going to be doing the measurements on the arms and the comparison here between these and the stock. So the bottom arms and the top arms. So we'll flip them over, we'll get some measurements, and we'll see how they stack up as far as stock for stock. Alright, so we're going to start off by getting this part here comparison to this part here, just kind of the width of the arm at the top. Zero me out. So it's about 1690. And that one's 1340. So it's about 3.5, almost 3.5 millimeters thinner this way. So we'll get the thickness measurement now. Gotta zero it out. Alright. It's about 12 millimeters. About 8, almost 8 millimeters. It's 4 millimeters thicker right here. Let's go up to the upper. The upper is clearly wider here, but this, if you can see that or not, this is all one solid piece right here. So this all goes across. It's real thick here, kind of really a grooved and embedded thick arm. I mean, it's an extremely thick arm. One thing I can tell you about this that you definitely don't have with this is these arms. I could take this arm off here, flip it to this side if I wanted to. I could flip that one over. I could flip that one over here. I can put one arm anywhere on this truck, on the top, one arm on the bottom. Can't do that over there. So, buying a pack of replacement arms that comes with 2 arms upper and 2 lower is going to last you a long time with arms built like this. Alright, so lower arms, I don't know if I'm going to go right here and do that. They're probably the same. 1837, 1989, so still about 1.5 millimeters thicker. Now I'm going to find a fat part. I'm going to go It's a little fatter right here, but I'm going to grab it right here just because I can get in without having this beam away, because this piece is thicker. Alright, so it's 1218. Right in the middle of this one. .815. So clearly 4 millimeters even thicker that way. I mean, 4 millimeters is a lot, man. I'm trying to tell you guys, this arm is thick. So definitely, clearly thicker arms. The diff housing's much thicker. Just the whole diff in general, these diffs are huge. Even the center diff's got a steel diff on the BE6S. Basically, the bottom of this looks almost identical. All right, so the chassis layout, this is just like the BE6S, so I can continue talking about it. But these right here, I mean, are basically the same layouts to a degree. I mean, this is literally 4 screws here, and it pops off, and there's your steel differential that drops down from sitting in the reduction gears. These are 5 millimeter shafts, I believe, on this truck, which are just over 5 millimeter. Which, guys, if you guys have any E-Revo and you're watching this, you know that I'm not even really going to have a conversation about this drive shafts. I mean, just not even going to do it. I'm not even going to measure it. The measurement of that drive shaft means nothing to me. The material of it is what it's all about. It's all plastic. It's garbage. It's garbage. They break. But I'll cover that in a minute. This is like I said, 5 millimeter. BE6S is 6 millimeter. So that's pretty much between these two vehicles, other than the sizing. I want to get the actual sizing. They do line up wheel to wheel, axle to axle pretty well. But the sizing of this and the layout of these trucks. These have the cantilever shocks that kind of have that sway design right here. They're the rockers. So some people like these. I mean, when I did this, I put the longer ones on, the longer shocks, because I was bottoming out. I wanted longer travel. It was a lot of work. I mean, I don't know. I love the independentness of this. I do. I love the fact that, the arms seem to, especially on the Summit, they want to kind of move independently. And these will too, but these shocks are so much more stiffer and bulkier that, it almost kind of lifts the whole truck up kind of evenly. Which, some people like, some people don't like. But, the jury's out on me for this. I mean, I don't know if I liked it or not. I also put the long shocks on it while I was trying to do speed runs, because I liked it for bashing as well, and I don't think that they worked out as well. They gave me too much ride height versus where these were better for speed, I think. So I kind of got caught in that middle of upgrading it, but yet still wanted to be a basher. So that was my issue with my truck. But again, this layouts of these vehicles here. One thing I don't like about the Traxxas, I never did. Oh my god! Besides the freaking pain in it. Man, it's trays. All right, this one's already open, but there we go. It's only going to house like a Traxxas battery, or like a slim 3S. It's not going to fit a fat pack. So if you want a fat pack in an E-Revo, you're pretty much mounting it somewhere else, or I don't even think you're modifying this tray unless you're opening it up and finding new homes for that stuff, which I just don't see it happening. So, again, this one, the BE6S, which I'm going to go ahead and swap them around, has battery trays here that has the Velcro straps without these covers. So, I mean, you can use the covers if you want, but they're a pain in the ass. So I'll show you the better setup on that, and it really is so much easier. But you do have to do some modification to make the fat packs fit in this as well, because of the motor restriction. So alright, I'm going to show you this angle as well, because when I bring out the BE6S, it's going to have the Big Joe 2s, which are definitely bigger, wider than the SRC Crushers as far as offset. So it's going to make it look, much wider. But it is wider, but it's not as much wide as it's going to look like with these Big Joes on it. And I will mention, Big Joes are known to be, from a couple people, especially some YouTube guys, to be diff killers on the E-Revo. So definitely had no problems whatsoever on the BE6S killing the diffs, and I'm running this thing on a 19 tooth 47 tooth spur. So you know this, I'm definitely putting the power and the torque, and I'm not having any issues whatsoever with my truck with the BE6S and the Big Joe 2s. Alright, and here's the actual BE6S, which of course I'll go over and show you what's stock and what's not. We already saw the arms, we know they're not stock, but everything else that you're going to see pretty much is, with the exception of a few things. So first of all, the cage is available for the E-Revo as well. First thing I like about this, though, that makes it better than the one that's available for that, is this thing goes over top of this wing, so it actually protects it more times than not. I mean, if you guys seen the speed run I did on this thing, you seen it flip over on the concrete. That happens to me all the time, just getting out of control and just being stupid. And this cage is in great shape. I mean, I can't knock the cage, man. It definitely protects it, and it saved my wing numerous times, because when I had the MT8E the first time, I didn't have the cage on it, and I would break this wing or the wing assembly, but it took a lot to break it. Just a bunch of hard flips coming right down on it, but it happens. But the fact that this cage design for this truck comes over and grabs it, that is a huge plus. And if anybody owns an E-Revo watching this video already knows, it'd be nice to have your wing protected and have that support, because they do snap off. So I just wanted to cover that. But this tilts up. It's a real nice design. Oh, and here's another thing that you're not going to get with E-Revo. This body, man, stock body. It's a little thicker, definitely thicker than your average, probably like a Proline body. Good thickness for that. But with this truck, even without this cage, if you flip this truck over, you're skidding here on this, here, one of these side claddings, or the rear wing, which on this cage obviously is here. But basically your body, if you did go out and get a cool body, good pattern, it's going to stay protected, because it's got these body cladding pieces that are unscrewable. But this body is also probably, I'd say, at least 50% thicker. And then of course you have the removable option to take those body cladding pieces off and refresh them. So this body is just very solid compared to the E-Revo. And it's not just the design of the truck is going to keep it protected. If you want to go out, most people don't take their bashers out and put a nice custom body on it. But you can do that if you go out and you have like the roll cage, or you have those body skid plates protecting your body, and just replace them, and next thing you know, your body looks fresh again. So huge plus, in my opinion. I mean, it should be yours too, but who wants to damage the body? But so here's the BE6S layout. It's the battery straps I was telling you about. What I did to accommodate the fat packs was very simple, which again is not even a solution for the Revo, is I just dremelled this out right here, just down and over, and allowed just enough room for the fat packs to fit up under here, because the fat pack will fit in the tray, plenty of room, but getting it in and down into them trays was the hard part. So that's awesome. So that's awesome. But what you're looking at is not stock electronics. This does come with the Max 10. It does come with the Max 8 2200 kV kind of debranded version, the ready to run version with the 150 amp Max 8 debrand. So it's not the exact Max 8 combo, but it's still close. I can tell you the Max 8 combo, the true one, does gear higher up and allow you to push it a little further than what the stock ready to run does. So you may be around like a 17 tooth comfortably on this, with some meaty tires. I've had it on 22 actually with the SRC crushers. It's on YouTube now. Didn't have the speed, anything on it for speed at the particular time, but I had the 22 on SRCs rolling. So I mean, this thing, if you want to go take a look at that, I'll put the link in the description for that. But this thing was rolling with the with that. Matter of fact, I think that was the my old MT8E that I first made into the BE6S. So that only had the Arma Creighton motor, which I think personally the 2200 is more powerful. It's already 200 more kV and probably a little bit more torque because it's a longer can. So that was with that. And again, I've had the speedrun video of this truck with this motor in it, but I didn't get any with it with the actual stock motor in it. Although I did do some, I just didn't get any with it. Again, same issues that I run into with with this powerful motor is I just don't have enough room to get it wound out. So my speed runs aren't, complete. All right, so let me just go over what you get with this truck, purchasing it, in comparison to that truck. You're getting the arms from the other truck, the plastic arms, real thick. Definitely better than arms on that. Definitely save you money from having to buy the RPMs like you would for the E-Revo. You buy those arms, you buy one set of extras, which is going to cost you just under $20. So just under $20 difference comparing to $50 for going out and getting RPM arms. So you're saving $30, and then you have a spare. You're just buying that just for backup. Then you have a spare times 2 for upper and lower of this truck in the plastic, and you're still cheaper. I'm talking to the guys that say, oh, we'll just get it and put the RPM arms on it when you get it. Oh, change out the drive shafts, just put the upgraded drive shafts on it. Okay, well, your upgraded drive shafts cost me, when I had mine, $50 just to replace these crappy things that kept breaking on me. These are some thick ass CVDs for the size of this truck. Done this with the CEN comparison. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, these are 6. It says 6.5. It's probably really close. Yeah, it's almost 6.5 millimeters. So that's a thick drive shaft for this truck, and I mean I can promise you, I don't have the performance steel Traxxas ones that I used to have, but I'm pretty sure that rod was not 6 millimeter. It was probably more like 5 millimeter, and then it had the little boot on it and all that stuff. But and those cost me $50. This is standard, so you're not having to go out and replace it. You will not have to go out and replace those drive shafts like you will with these. I mean, these are solid. The drive cup ends, like I was telling you, all that stuff is, where's it at? Right there. All this stuff is upgraded. All those cups are really thick, and where this dog bone comes out into the CVA is also really thick. It's got a really fat pin in there. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's a very solid design. The knuckles are solid, even if you don't want to get the aluminum. But if you do want to get the aluminum, the money that you save not buying the RPM arms, not buying the upgraded shafts, you put into your aluminum knuckles, and you got them. I mean, you can get the aluminum knuckles. They're expensive, but so is the other parts. If you're that type of person that's spending and you want those, it's a nice upgrade. Again, back to what you get. You have full aluminum shocks. I got the covers on underneath of these, but these are full aluminum. So that's a nice touch. These are plastic. You will not get these in steel tipped. Although I do have a bundle that will get you the front and rear CNC towers and the steel tips for, less than $100 more than you would pay for just the E-Revo by itself. And that's before we start talking about the other additions that are standard, like the battery straps, bigger areas, slide style motor mount that houses up to a 25 tooth pinion on it the way it is now. If you drop the motor spur down to a 45, you can actually get, I think, like a 28 or more on this. So you can really gear this up as well. For those that want to up gear and you want to go out and do speed runs and that's your main focus, you can still do that with this truck. You can definitely gear this truck, again, the same way. This, I think that goes down to a 54, but that's a mod 32 pitch. This is mod 1. So the gearing, final drive, all that's different. You can't really go off of that. But again, it's something that it's a nice bonus if you do want to upgear it. And the solid style mount, this setup is so easy. It's 2 screws here and here. This whole motor assembly just slides off and lets you change your pinion. And you slide it back on, and get in there and mesh your gear just right. And then you slide it on, you tighten these down, and there's your perfect gear mesh. So that's a huge plus. I love this slide style motor mount. This differential housing for the reduction gears is in aluminum. It's aluminum housing because 6S high power should be aluminum. There's nothing else said about that. Wing shims, hold on the wing, aluminum. When I didn't have these in aluminum, they would definitely pull through and pop out on my old MT8Es. So that's a huge bonus. And the wheelie bar, this is not stock, but it does come with one right here. It's a single one out the middle. I should have showed it to you on the other one, but it's got a little wheel here, so it does come with one. I just like the more balanced wheelie bar, plus I can lower it down, and I have the upgraded extender that lets it come down and get some better speed runs and things out of it. So that's a nice plus, but again, that's not stock. but it does come, this is actually from where I get the cage at, so it's a nice setup. Everything else you see on here is stock, with the exception of the electronics. I mean, the CNC towers, for the bundle I have, are part of it, but they do come with some really nice thick aluminum ones, but they're just thinner, much thinner than this. But like I said, everything else you're seeing, you know, your drive shafts, this, aluminum shocks, your aluminum slide mount, reduction gearbox, this upgraded steel center diff housing, upgraded drive shafts, upgraded drive cups all the way around. All of that is included with your purchase, with the 6S system. That with just a pinion gear, just upgrading the pinion gear, out the box, you're going to get about 40 miles per hour. E-Revo is right around like 35, I think, for mine, and from what I've been seeing from other people, it's right around 35, 36. Stock for stock, 6S. This one, just from changing the pinion gear, I mean, you can have this thing cranking over 50 just by putting in a 14-tooth pinion. Comes stock with an 11. You're over 50 with just a 14-tooth pinion. The highest speed I got recorded on the actual stock motor of the BE6S was right around like 56 miles an hour. And that was, again, I think I had a good bit of that one. I'm pretty sure that I was confident that I got the most of that. But again, the pinion gear's changing. I never did get a full speed test run when I had the 22 and the 47 on it. Every time I went out to go do it, multiple things happened. I'd only had that motor in it for very little time before the BE6S came out, and I did my whole swap. So I just never got back to it. But I'm sure that thing was well over 60. Having access to that field that I actually recorded that video at would be great right now, because my issue right now is the length of space that I have to run it and feel comfortable slamming that trigger. I mean, that place had that extra runoff where the people, you know, take off and start at. So that was a really nice it was a really nice addition to that you know, gave me a little bit more confidence in squeezing that trigger. But you know, I will get back out there. I will throw the SRCs back on it and do some more speed runs with this. Just got a lot of projects. But so I mean, that's the vehicles. That's what they are side by side. And you know, talking about durability, I mean, I've flipped this truck numerous times. Used to flip and wreck this thing plenty of times as well. Again, you know, to be fair, when I had this truck, there weren't belted tires, so I was dealing with the old saucers and trying to get that thing going to, you know, 50 some miles an hour plus. I think I had it at the 50, was it 50 or 54? I think it was a 54 tooth pinion and with like 16 tooth, and I was like right around like 56, 57 miles an hour, but it was so completely ridiculous to control. With the SRCs, you know, would probably get a little bit more better control out of it nowadays. But with everything, you know, me repurchasing, I didn't even want to repurchase this truck to bring it in because I didn't want to have to worry about selling it, you know, without selling it through the website and just, you know, just basically having it in stock, because I haven't really brought in everything yet and set everything up fully to be running these and stocking them like that. So I didn't want to buy a brand new one. Mainly because I'm not going to demo it. I don't want to drive it. I've been there, done that. I know what's going to break. Unless I'm ready to spend some money in this, you know, I'm not willing to do so right now. And why? I mean, this is way better, in my opinion, right here in front of you guys. I mean, what you get for this truck stock is so much better than what you get for this truck stock. You got your people that love the dual steering servos, and I do too, but it's not necessary with this truck. I mean, it comes with a Savox servo already in it. It's not the fastest servo in the world, but it definitely turns the stock tires, which are about 6.5-inch tires. They're real tall, kind of like those saucers, but much more thickness than what the stock E-Revo tires have. I mean, those things are garbage, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions. They shred very easily. The exposed gear, I'm not a big fan of. Nothing different though. I'm not really that worried about it. I have other trucks like that. But this whole setup, like to change the motor out on this, is much more complicated. And again, not a huge big deal. I mean, you're just taking off a couple extra screws. It's not a huge deal. I'm not going to make it a big deal, but it's not as simplified as that setup. The chassis layout, again, with the batteries, I'm just not a fan of this limitation. I'm not a fan of these shocks either. I mean, I broke a bunch of, I think 3 rockers on this thing when I had mine. these parts right here. I mean, this coming down hard and banging, man. I bent that. I bent this rod. I broke at least 6 or 7 different CVs before I actually went to the upgradeds. What else did I break? The wing multiple times. It got tore up, came off a couple times. Rigged it a few times, but I probably replaced about 2 or 3 wings. Maybe about 4 arms, lower arms, mainly in the front, coming down bad landings and things like that. And then I went to the RPM and wound up selling it right afterwards. So I never really got a chance to bash the RPM. But the RPMs weren't even any thicker. They're just made of a different material. So it's not like it's any advantage if I had the RPMs here to compare, but that's still money that you're spending to get those parts. So I don't discredit the dual servo setup. I'm saying it's not a selling factor. I mean, you have 2 servos, you got 1 servo. If it's doing its job, it doesn't matter, and if you're one of the people that go out and spend money, you're going to put a high-end servo in this thing anyway, kind of like what I have in there. So it's not about the what comes with the stock for some people. It's all about the upgrades. But there's certain things to this that you don't even have to touch, that you can avoid and spend your money elsewhere. And the vehicle size, but it's a bigger truck, man. And it's a 1/8. This is a 1/8. Don't let them lie to you and tell you it's a 1/10. I mean, it's just like the Summit. It's a 1/8. But it's their classifications. I don't understand what they're going off of. But again, I hated this truck, and there's so much wrong with it. That some people just don't see. They're starstruck by the truck, by the name. And Red Cat doesn't have the sexy name, but I promise you it's sexy. I take this thing out, and it definitely gets comments. It gets all kinds of looks. It's a beast. And even the people that find out about Red Cat, they're like, "Oh, it's a Red Cat? Man, yeah, I heard those were garbage." I was like, "Well, those don't look like garbage to me." And again, I'm not bashing this truck here. I mean, if you want the E-Revo, you're getting a good truck. You're just going to put some money into it. I'm just telling you that this is less money involved, and you're also getting a great truck with much more to offer out the box. And that's what this video is about, is what you can get to offer. I mean, I had that guy tell me about the in my comments. He made a comment in the video section about the arms, and he said that they're real expensive, Red Cat parts. I'm like, Red Cat plastic stuff is not expensive. Some of the aluminum stuff is, but not the plastic. He's like, well, Red Cat plastic's good, but, and then he went into the I think it's it's not as good as RPM, and RPMs are $10 each for the truck or something like that. So yeah, it's about $50. It's about $12.50 each when you buy it by the bundle. But you don't have to upgrade this. So yes, it's just so thick. That Red Cat plastic is so much thicker. I promise you that Red Cat plastic that comes on this is better than the RPM plastic that comes on here if they did a stress test, because that stuff is just so thick. It would take so much more pressure to crush that arm or break that arm than it's going to even this or the RPM. So again, that's a valid point to me, and it's people like that out there that make me want to make a video like this. I mean, my buddy gave me his list. I've been holding it. He has put 2 wings. Not sure if that is counting this one. Actually, it's probably 2 wings that he broke, counting this one, I would imagine. He's broke 2 bumpers. Again, not including this one. What else? Oh my god, I can't even read his handwriting. 2 rockers, which are these. 2 rear arms, 3 front arms, multiple shafts, 6+, 3 diffs, 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. And that's it. I'm telling you, this guy hasn't probably driven this truck, and even when he had it, he bought it because of the name. I'll call him out on it. I know he's going to watch this video, and I still call him out on it. He bought it because of the name. It was flashy, and didn't wind up driving it as much as he thought. He ran into the same problems that we all do with the stock tires, and it's cool. Oh man, these things are saucers. And I talked to him, 6 months later, and be like, man, that thing's so hard to control, man. Them tires are just like out of control. So it's cool for a while to see that stuff, but it's not cool to have that all the time. And again, the stock tires on the BE6S are going to balloon up on you as well. I got videos on YouTube showing the stock setup. Haven't done it yet, like I did with the little guy. Haven't done it yet to showing what it does up geared, because those things will be basically, I'd be scared to be near them. They could probably come off the rim. But so yeah, I mean, but the material is so much thicker to me on the stock tire than they are on the E-Revo stock tire. I mean, those things just peel back and like shred. So my stock tires don't flip around like they used to anymore, because I have the upgraded tires that are all strapped, so these things don't pancake, and doing flips and things like that aren't as easy in stunts. But definitely for my jumping and bashing, I definitely can do it and have fun. I don't break parts on this truck, man. I don't. This truck itself has not had one single broken part since I owned it. That's even with going with the aluminum. That's before I upgraded the plastic. I mean, when I sold the plastic off this truck, most of it was brand new. So, it just brand new, meaning it wasn't scratched up and banged up. I only drove it like 3 or 4 times before I basically overhauled it, because I'd already had the truck, had the MT80, and was just going to convert this truck over. So I've had all this time to think about, my past experience with the E-Revo, and even then, I wasn't a Traxxas seller, so I couldn't get the truck. I wasn't worried about it like that. I just knew it was better, but I hadn't had it to compare. I've seen the Creighton side by side with my truck, but I don't have it to compare. I would love to compare a Creighton to this truck, because I had my neighbor had one, and I've seen them. I know it's going to come out on camera just like it is with this one. When we start measuring parts and things like that, just overall thickness of what you get out the box for roughly the same price. You can contact me. It's on my website. The bundle's the best deal you can get. I mean, for what I have the bundle on my website for the shock towers and the body posts, $90 more than what you pay for this right now anywhere. It's a steal. And show these people, man. Show these people that this Redcat truck is badass, because it is. I can't express it enough. It's very hard to be disappointed with this truck. I mean, it's got totally not covering everything on it either. I mean, you got the LED light standard in the headlights. You got, I think it's 2 or 4. I'm sorry. It's either 2 or 3 on each side. So it's 4 or 6. I can't remember right now. I think it's 2 on each. RPMs supporting it. It's got the front and rear basher. Actually, it doesn't have rear. It's got the front and middle skid that covers that whole trench down there, which doesn't really need to be covered if you remember seeing the other one, but the drive shafts were still exposed, so I guess it doesn't hurt. Here, let me add something to that real quick too. I didn't cover this, but this also has a 3-part chassis, which disconnects the front. Underneath this plate, there's a piece that disconnects the front of this, so you can actually take the front part of this chassis off, or the rear. So if you have a real bad accident or something, rip a arm off or something like that, you're not rebuilding your whole truck on a brand new chassis. You're just replacing, like you're disconnecting the front end, rebuilding that, replacing whatever's broke, and then you can pop it back on, a couple screws on top, and you're good to go. So that's a huge benefit, whereas the Traxxas one does not have that at all. And if you break anything, snap this piece off or anything, you are rebuilding everything on a brand new chassis. So that's a benefit in my eyes, and I'm sure a lot of people's eyes as well. Alright, well, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover, man. I mean, don't take this wrong. I'm not putting Traxxas down. I mean, I loved my time with this truck. My wallet didn't, but I definitely did. I mean, it was a fun time. It was a fun experience. I just got tired of dealing with it, and I gave up on it. The LiPo batteries went bad on me, because I didn't get a chance to drive it for a few months when I had a kid, and it's just all of it. Remembering what I went through and not wanting to spend money, and I got out of the hobby for a couple of years and came back and ended up with Redcat. Tried a couple of trucks and was very impressed for the money of what I remember from my Rustler and my Stampede, and so I was impressed. So I stuck with them, and then wound up becoming a dealer. And like I said, I've expanded, and now I've opened myself up to tons more stuff like the Colossus, the Revos, the Team Associates. So I'm going to be doing a lot more as I can, the unboxing and reviews and things like that, and comparison videos for people out there that might not be seeing them. But again, I'm not trying to bash this. I mean, I'm just tired of seeing the jokes in the comments when anybody says, hey, what should I get? The E-Revo, the Summit, or the Nero, or something along that line. And it's like, oh, well, you know what? You should get, out of all those, should be the BE6S. It's an awesome truck, blah, 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 rada, rada, rada. I'm sure, if you guys are in forums, you've seen it. And then it's like, oh, don't buy Red Cat junk, you don't want that junk. I mean, this is not junk, guys. It's not junk. It's an awesome truck. You can watch plenty of videos online of running, plenty of my videos, let alone everybody else has got them, just out there tearing them up and beating them up. Not one single part has been replaced. I've had this, and going back to my MT8E that I had before that, which I had all the way up through this, I didn't have nothing but wing support, and then I had the front, but that pivot ball set up, it's plastic on plastic. I didn't have it upgraded, and a buddy of mine driving it on camera popped, I think, the rear shock cap, broke that, so I upgraded the rears to aluminum. So that was it. I replaced a wing, 2 wings, because I replaced it when I sold it, and a bumper. I did crack a bumper, and I was actually on camera as well during a speed run in a dark parking lot. So again, that's not bad, man. For the time, basically, if you want to say that I've owned 2 trucks, I owned the weaker version of this truck and this for the better part of a year and a half, probably since the MT80 came out. Year and a half with trucks. Now again, they're not my main drivers. I don't get a chance to drive them all the time. I got tons of other stuff to drive and play with, but let's cut that down to 3-4 months. Let's call it 3-4 months of what a normal person would get it and drive it. In a week, I was in getting a new CV in for this truck, upgrading the spur gear, the arms. I was back in a couple weeks. In a 3-month period, my first 3 months, I probably, of course, figuring it out, just kind of learning it, I replaced a wing, a couple arms, and then a CV shaft. And of course, probably after that, roughly over a year and a half that I had this truck is when I did everything else. So again, that was when it started up gearing it. The more and more I went after I put the 45 on, it got a little bit more out of control and a little bit harder to control. So you got your E-Revo people out there that are going to love it. But if you got money and you like collecting trucks and good trucks, this is a truck that will never leave my collection. And, again, it's my opinion of this vehicle, but I want you to make your own opinion of this vehicle. Get the truck, pay the money. If you're debating on grabbing one, be the one to try it, man. You're not going to be disappointed. I mean, there's so many things that this truck has to offer that just make it better. I mean, that body clad, just the body, man. Like, how many times do you replace bodies on vehicles after smashing them? And this cage setup, I mean, I sell the cage. I got the blue ones actually clearanced right now for just over a little bit over $100. But I got the black ones as well for cheaper than what you can get them online. And these things are, they're durable, man. I mean, these cage, the whole setup here is just a basher setup. I mean, it's got the lights here. You put the LED lights in if you want. Wire them up through there. It's a good truck, man. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. It can handle the big Joes. For you E-Revo guys that have had issues putting big Joes on it, it can definitely handle them. It can handle some up gearing on the pinion without having to change the spur. It's a better truck out the box. And that's my final word on this. It's a better truck out the box. So again, man, if you guys have any questions, man, I'm sure you guys are going to light me up in the comment section. Yeah, but really, I mean, I'm sorry, until you get this truck in front of you, man, you do that first and then light me up. If you got that truck side by side and you can clearly tell me that your E-Revo is better out the box than this BE6S, man, I'd love to hear from you. That's, I'm not going to give you anything, but I'd love to hear from you. So comments, please, they're welcomed. I always respond. If anybody's got a Creighton out there, man, if you got a Creighton, you want to send me a Creighton, I'm not going to buy one because, A, I don't want it. I don't want it because I've seen it. And B, I have this truck, man. This is my buggy / racer, whatever I want it to be. That's this truck. I fill in trucks by collection. I don't have a huge collection of trucks. I don't want a huge collection of trucks, but I have a few different ones of each category and each levels of price point, basically. So, again, that's just how I like to do it. A lot of people go fill your garage full of them. But if you guys somebody has a crate and they want to send me something, I mean, I'll put something together for you, man. I'll definitely give you a little goodie bag, send the truck back. I'll pay for shipping to and from. hopefully somebody close to the U.S. East Coast. I'm in Maryland, so anybody like in PA that would want to send me a truck, Creighton, so I can do a side-by-side comparison. Like I said, man, I'll take care of you. Give you probably about 25-30% discount on any parts or anything if you have a Red Cat vehicle or any vehicles I have access to get parts to you for, or something like that. But we'll take care of you. Like I said, the main thing is get my hands on the truck, doing the side-by-side comparison, and just seeing, again, what you get out the box. Alright, so that's pretty much about it. That's all I want to cover with this truck. Sorry, my cat decided to jump up here and doesn't want to get off the table now, but the comparisons are there. I mean, again, you're getting much more money for this truck out the box. I just, I've been wanting to do this video. I'm glad, in my opinion, it came out exactly as I thought it would, and that's showing that out the box that this BE6S is definitely built better. It's thicker. I mean, the chassis, all this stuff everything's hard on this truck. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not hard on that one, but again, we've already covered some of the differences, in my opinion, that make this truck a better purchase out the box. And again, even when you start sinking money into it, I'll even go past that. So I keep saying out the box because I know I'm just waiting for people to tell me that you can upgrade this and do all this other stuff to it, but I mean, you can to this too. So I mean, that argument is not really there, and it's not going to fly with me because, again, I am an ex-E-Revo owner. I've had one, so you can debate that with me all you want, but I mean, I've owned both vehicles, which if you're watching this video and you don't have this BE6S and you maybe have an E-Revo, that's more than you can say because you haven't had them side by side and you haven't been able to make that fair comparison. It's an awesome truck, man. If you guys have any questions, hit me up, drop a comment. I'll be happy to respond. And thanks for watching, guys. Take care.